Hey gang, TGIF everybody. Hello, hello. Here is your Friday poll question at Smerconish.com. If Texas is halted from redistricting by the courts, should California also pause its redistricting effort? I never liked what Texas was doing. The model is fine going at the end of every decade. Census comes out and we go through the process known as reapportionment, and that's when gerrymandering unfortunately kicks in. Texas, in this instance, at the behest of the president, says, oh, you know what? We can actually do this whenever we want to do this. So mid-decade, we are going to reapportion. For what purpose? To give an advantage to the GOP, picking up as many as 5 seats. Seems like a very convenient political deal. But now it touched off this sort of domino process, and California says, oh, if that's what you're going to do, Texas, then we'll respond in kind, which was particularly upsetting to me because it was the Schwarzenegger model that professionalized the drawing of boundary lines in California, and to throw that away in some tit for tat with Texas, oh, that was good alliteration. I didn't like that idea. So now a federal court has said to Texas, whoa, not so fast, for reasons we'll get into briefly in this conversation, but on air today with a legal scholar. And Texas might not be able to do its reapportionment, but California has passed Prop 50. So President Trump and the Republicans may come out on the short end of the stick here. And the question I'm raising, and I recognize, and I need to stress this, I don't even know if California could back off, because now they've changed the Constitution as a result of Prop 50. So recognizing that, would you like to see California back off? If Texas can't do it, I would. I'd like neither of them to change the process that we have in place. Thank you so much to Parks Casino. Parks Casino, great holiday gifts. I think the gift of a night out mingling is a great gift. Grand Funk Railroad, I mean, maybe that suits somebody on your list. Go out and hear them sing We're an American Band. 16-time Grammy winner David Foster and Catherine McPhee, the Marshall Tucker Band, and Jefferson Starship. That's on one bill. Alan Cumming, the Broadway star, uncut his new one-man cabaret show, Piano Men, a tribute to Elton John and Billy Joel. Sounds like a lot of fun. Comedian Tracy Morgan. I know that's fun. Comedian Kathleen Madigan, Melissa Etheridge. Whatever the person on your gift list is looking for, Parks Casino has it. And in December, you want to get out of the house for the holidays? The a cappella sounds of Straight No Chaser, comedian Ken Jeong from The Hangover, and Get the Lead Out. That's a Zeppelin tribute. Parks Casino, PARXcasino.com/entertainment. You got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. There are a number of really interesting political headlines, all in the Friday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. I was on the phone yesterday with an industry expert, and this individual was marveling at the open rate of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter, saying to me, 35, 40% is the norm. If you're at 50%, you're doing great. We are at 70%, which means that people sign up for the newsletter and they open it and they love it. And the comment that I most often hear is, I scroll through at 8 a.m. Eastern time and I look at the headlines and I'm read in. I know you're shaking your head, right? This is.
No, that's what I do. That's what everybody does. I have so many people in my life that say this is their start, and it enables them to see the whole range of headlines. So they're seeing the serious, they're seeing the less serious, and they're like, okay, now I know what's going on. And then when they hear about it more later on, and it's not just quote unquote, just the headline. In the newsletter, you get a little blurb as well. So that gives you the gist of it. And then if you want to click through, you can see the actual story that Michael's picked. So that to me is just ideal.
It's so much work, but it's so freaking much work, but it's so worthy.
Yeah, it is.
And then it comes out and I'm proud of it. Yeah. Where else are you going to get the story about the Democrats who on video say to the military members, you can disobey an unlawful order. And then the president says this is seditious and you should be hung. And you're also going to get the story of Kevin Spacey saying he's homeless.
Or the moss surviving in the International Space Station.
It's amazing. They grew moss outside the space station.
Or how about the Pilgrims taking over Thanksgiving? What's
Yeah,
the
a
real
little
story?
background, like what went on there.
What's the real story?
So I have, in terms of political headlines, I have the story about the Democrats saying you can disobey an illegal order and the president saying that's seditious. I have to say, the easy call is to say, how could he possibly have called for their hanging, even in jest? Okay, that's appalling. That's the easy call, and I believe that. But why did they create that video to begin with? I think that's a legitimate question. I think it's so as to instill doubt in members of our armed services in following their orders. I don't know. I think it's more complicated than it's being treated by a lot. Okay. I also got a story in the newsletter today about Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, coming to the White House. I will be working out today. I will be on Peloton at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I know that right now because that's when Mamdani, I will be with Hannah Corbin.
But it doesn't matter what you're.
I have a date with Hannah Corbin.
Not really.
At 3 p.m. today.
With Hannah and Mamdani?
Yes, and I will have her muted. Okay,
Sorry,
and
Hannah.
I will be sorry, Hannah, and I don't need all the be positive about yourself
Love your
stuff
body
anyway.
the way it is. You can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time.
That's when the volume
That's
goes
Jess.
right. That's when I go more song, less speech.
They're talking to me. You know that, right? It's so me.
So, but Mamdani is coming at 3 p.m. and the White House schedule says closed press.
We'll
I
see about
doubt
that.
it.
We'll see about that.
I
It's too
doubt
good.
it.
It's too good.
So, I'm already set up to do a segment on CNN tomorrow based on democratic socialism on the theory that today in the afternoon, and we said this yesterday, Friday in the afternoon, it's going to be Trump, duking it out with Mamdani.
Calling him a communist.
And then all the stories are going to be,
Really a
what is
communist.
democratic socialism?
Right.
So we're trying to be ahead of the curve.
Good, I like
now,
it.
if they play nice and they all get along, then I'll be shit out of luck.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be a story in and of itself?
Yeah, but I want to do democratic socialism.
Why can't you still do democratic socialism, even if they play nice?
Yeah, I guess.
Then you could say Trump is embracing democratic socialism.
That's a good angle.
I'm here for you.
That's a good angle.
Okay.
Okay, Rahm Emanuel. Yeah, I'm intrigued by Rahm. He has an essay today in the Wall Street Journal that I find really interesting. It's in the newsletter. He talks about how Republicans are going to have to decide between MAGA populism and Reagan conservatism. And then he talks about the Democrats. And he says Democrats face a different challenge that is similarly consequential. Much as we all celebrated our victories, the recent election results were more a repudiation of Trump's GOP than an affirmation of the Democrats' agenda. And he goes on to say, moving forward, Democrats have to do more than simply muzzle their unsuccessful messages. They need to craft a narrative and agenda that reflects America's middle-class economic values. We need to be more about opportunities and responsibilities and less about rights and guarantees. And he says, this is how we win over Gen Z. So there's that. President Trump has a 28-point plan for settling the Russia-Ukraine war. We cover that in the newsletter today. This is another, Steve Witkoff working on it at the behest of the president. It sounds like, and Axios has good reporting on this as well, it sounds like the deal is that Putin's going to get to keep some of the spoils of war. And I know none of us like that. But do we like it to an extent that we say, oh, okay, keep going for another several years? And at the same time, there will be security guarantees provided to Ukraine that are very NATO-like. So that's the deal that's taking shape. But my lead story, I'm so sorry that I'm getting long-winded getting to it. But my lead story, my number one story at Smerconish.com today, just in time for Thanksgiving, is from Gallup. And it's great. And it's a story from Gallup. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, there it is on the split screen. It's a 20,000 person sample size yielding this data that says 8 in 10 U.S. adults agree on 8 in 10 on a variety of issues that reflect the core values of U.S. democracy. We agree that using violence to achieve political goals is never okay. We agree that elected leaders should compromise to get things done. We agree that multiculturalism is a good thing, having mixes of races, religions, and cultures. And we also agree that we need to limit the political influence of wealthy individuals and businesses. and we realize that there is a difference between fact and opinion. And I just loved seeing this affirmation of everything I say to you here, very Minglish, about how there's more that unites us than divides us. And I'm going to do a commentary on this, I think, on television tomorrow in time for Thanksgiving. Yesterday's poll result, 34,185 voted. Would you like the ability to vote with your smartphone in municipal elections? Bradley Tusk was a guest here yesterday. He was terrific. They're doing this in Anchorage, Alaska, and I love it. 53.48% of us said, yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. Start small. Let's see how it goes in a municipal election and learn from the experience. Today, the Friday poll question: if Texas is halted from redistricting by the courts, should California also pause its redistricting efforts? I say yes. I never wanted Texas to do it. I don't want California to do it, especially California, because California is the gold standard. They are approaching this subject in a professional manner, the way that it ought to be approached. And now to throw out those gains, I think, is terrible. And something else. I'm holding in my hands a letter dated August 11, 2025, from Gavin Newsom to President Trump. We'll put that on the screen as well for the benefit of those watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to the podcast and you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing something, okay? So this is Governor Newsom telling President Trump, please back off what you're trying to do in Texas. And at the end of the letter, he says, quote, if you will not stand down, I will be forced to lead an effort to redraw the maps in California to offset the rigging of maps in red states, which he did. Quote, but if the other states call off their redistricting efforts, we will happily do the same, and American democracy will be better for it. I wish President Trump had done what Governor Newsom wanted him to do, which is to back the red states off. It was Trump who put the idea, I think, in their heads to begin with. So now a federal court has stopped, and this is obviously being appealed, but they've stopped Texas from their plan at redistricting for reasons we'll get into on air today. They essentially said that it was racial gerrymandering, and you can't do that. You can do partisan gerrymandering. Imagine that. So I don't see any prospect that California is going to slow down now. I don't. But I'm still asking the question, wouldn't it be great if they would, so that neither of these big states engage in this practice? Instead, it's probably going to be a big advantage for Democrats. And the Wall Street Journal has an editorial today, Trump's Texas gerrymander backfire. So my hunch is that overwhelmingly people on the website today will say, no, California, stand your ground and screw the Republicans. But I don't like that outcome. The Wall Street Journal says Trump's attempt to bludgeon GOP state legislatures to redo their districts could turn out to be a misjudgment that costs Republicans their House majority. I get it. That's the poll question. So please go vote. Give TC some play. TC, what do you want to promote with TC After Dark?
Oh, TC After Dark is so fun this week. I talk about decluttering with the 90-90 rule and 8 other guides. I talk about whether you could spend 3 days without your cell phone. I talk about the MAGA, the Mar-a-Lago face. And I talk about naked Doritos.
Love it.
So fun.
Check out TC After Dark. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. The content is great. You'll be glad that you did. I trust you're a subscriber to the newsletter, and you're one of the people who has given me that amazing open rate. Thank you for all of that. See you on radio.